Hi everyone, Mr. McCray here, doing another video. This time it's going to be on transformation, which is our new unit for the next 5 weeks. Basically, transformation is going to take into four different sections: translation, rotation, reflection, dilation. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be learning about this topic, but also doing a project at the same time. So we'll spend one day a week on this, learning each thing, and then we're going to take the other time of you guys trying to learn on your own and trying to get all this information into your head, because I think this is a really important um, unit for building your skills up for ninth and 10th grade. So let's get going. Okay, so the first thing is, what is a transformation? Transformation is basically is when an image is changed in a certain way. Okay, so it has four types of changes. Okay, it could be translation, which we'll talk about today, rotation, reflection, or dilation. Okay, um, the most important one that again is obviously translation, but like I said, we'll learn about all four of them as we go along. All right, so translation, what is it? Translation is a transformation that maps all the points of a figure at the same distance in the same direction. So basically, what it means is that the figure itself or the object is congruent to the other figure that it just made. So a couple words that we're going to be using with that is any image that's before we make the translation, it's going to be called a pre-image, and after it's going to call the image itself. So look at this picture here. The biggest transformation of all time is Transformers. So right now is Optimus Prime. So as you can see here, Optimus Prime is translating to the other side here. So this would be technically the pre-image right here. You can see how is it in gray, and this would be the image. Okay, so having said that, all right, so basically what we have to find is what is the distance here between both points, what's the distance here between both points. Okay, so we have to find the distance between both of them. Okay, and that's how it would work. All right, so let me give you another example of that. All right, here is a triangle that I'm going to make. Okay, and they have certain points on them. This is going to be B, this is going to be A, and this is going to be C. Okay, so I'm going to make a line that shows the translation, of the graph, of the actual shape. Okay, there it is, there it is, there it is. Okay, so as you can see, ABC, the triangle ABC, is mapped or translated to this new one, ABC. Okay, but the question is, like, how do you know which one is a pre-image and which one is a regular image? Okay, so there's a way to do that. It's called you putting a prime on it. So basically, B is mapped to this B. This is B prime. C is mapped to this one, so this would be C prime. And then A is mapped to A, this would be A prime. So that's the way you can tell the pre-image to the image is by making that prime sign right there. Okay, that's important to know. All right, so moving on. So a couple things to know about the pre-image is the pre-image is always going to be congruent. Okay, we already said that, but the pre-image is always going to be congruent to your image. Okay, but it has a certain specific word. It's called isotrometry. Isotrometry. I always said that wrong. Isotrometry. Okay, so that basically means that the pre-image is always going to be congruent to your other image. Okay, only one that would not. So this happens in translation, rotation, reflection. The only one that's not going to be with isometry is going to be dilation, and that'll be the last one we're going to talk about, because that one's a little bit harder to learn and understand. Okay. So let's move on and let's talk again. You might be like, huh? You're confused about all this kind of stuff I just said to you, but please just follow along and listen, and it will start to make sense to you after we start doing some more work as you go along in the process. So there's a rule in translation. Okay, so what is the algebraic rule? Okay, that we're going to have to write down. So whenever you have a translation, you're always going to write P. Okay, that would be the pre-image. Okay, X, Y, whatever that coordinate point is of that letter, okay, is mapped to P primed, okay, because we already said mapped to the image, okay, X plus or minus A parenthesis Y, I'm not parenthesis comma, plus or minus B. And that's how it would work. That's how the translation rule would look. Okay, so whatever it tells you to shift, right or left, up or down, that's going to help you make the B of the P prime. Okay? So you're probably like, what the heck is that? All right, you'll understand as we go along. Okay, so here's an actual example, okay, of what we're talking about. Okay, so the diagram shows here a translation in a coordinate plane. So these are different coordinate points here, and here's like a rectangle. A square. And here's another square that had a pre-image, and this is the new image. Okay, so each point of the black sphere is moved 4 units to the right, 2 units down. Using the variables, you can say that the pair of original figures map to xy prime, whereas x plus 4 and y minus 2. And then so you can use the arrow notation to write the following translational rule. Okay, so let me write the actual rule for you, okay, as we explain. So we said 4 units to the right and then 2 units down. Okay, so as you can see, here is B right here. Here's the coordinate point B. We're just going to go 4 units to the right and 2 units down, and now B sub prime right here. Okay, same thing with A. 4 units to the right, 2 units down. That would be A prime. Okay, same thing for D and C. All they're doing the same thing, because remember we said they're both congruent images, so the shape is not going to change, or just basically where they're going to be noticed at. Okay, and that's it. So let's write the rules so we can actually show you what that means. Okay. All right. So what we said before was P, or the pre-image, XY. Okay. Maps to P prime. Now we have X. Now the question is, what do we have to write for the A value? Okay. So it says 4 units to the right. So if we start at B and we go 4 units to the right to this side right here, do we increase or decrease? Okay, do we increase the X value or we decrease the X value? We actually increase the X value because we're going to the right, this way to the right. So that means we increase it. So we're going to say X plus 4. Okay, is going to be 1. Now the other one says Y, okay, and then we have to say, is it going to be minus or plus? So we start at here, we're at this point, and then we're going to go down 2 spaces. So on the Y-axis, when we go down 2 spaces, that means decreasing. So that would be minus 2. And that would be our rule, a translation rule. It's basically going from Pxy to P prime, X plus 4, Y minus 2. So how it would work is basically whatever the coordinate point for A is, all we have to do is plug it in for X and Y, and that would give us the coordinate point for A sub prime. Same thing for D. We just plug in the coordinate points of D, and we'll get D prime. And then the same thing for C. So that's all you would have to do and solve it. So we'll talk more about it as we go along so you can see how it looks. There's another way to write this as well. You can also write this as this way. It's a T, which means translation, and you write 4 and you write -2 on the bottom. That's another way to write it, but we're mostly going to be focused on this, writing it this way for our exam and any kind of test or anything like that. Okay, there is also another way of writing it. You can also write it as a vector. So it's like this, and you write 4, -2. And we put vector parentheses around it. It's weird, but not a lot of people use that, but just want to show you the different ways you can actually write it. But we're mostly going to focus on the top portion, make sure we write it this way. Okay? All right, so let's move on and try some examples. Okay, so let's take out the translation rule first. Okay, so we said that before. It's P, XY, maps to P prime, X plus minus A, Y plus minus B. And that's the translational rule. So here's an example of a translation. The shape moves 4 units to the right, 3 units down. Write the translation rule. Okay, 4 units to the right means it's positive. 3 units down means it's negative. Okay, so all we'd have to do is go P, X, Y, maps to P's primed. Okay, X plus 4, Y minus 3, like that. And that's how it would work. That would be the answer to that question. That's all you would have to do. Pretty easy. Now, if you want to do it the other way, you can just write T as transformation and write 4, -3. Other way to write it, using the vectors, 4, -3. That's it. So that would be the answer. So I'm mostly concerned about getting that answer for your question. Okay, hope we can do that. All right, so let's try another one. Let's get a little harder here. Let's try a problem. Find the image of a translation. So what are the images of the vertices PQR for the translation of x minus 2, y minus 5? Graph the image of PQR. So we got to graph the new image, the image of PQR. So basically we got to graph P this, P primed, Q primed, and R primed. Okay, just like that. So think about it now. What is it? Where? How are we doing this? Like, where is it going? So we have a -2. So we look at these values right here in the little parentheses. Okay, so that tells us a story of what's happening. Okay, so the x is basically going to go 2 to the left. Okay, because it's -2. So basically, if we're on the x-axis, we're going to go -2. We got to go to the left. We're going to go to the left. The other one says -5, so we're going to go down 5 down. Okay, so wherever we're going to go, -2 and 5 and down 5. Okay, so there's a couple ways you can do this. Since it's translation, it's pretty easy. Okay, you just basically have to take your R point here and go 1, 2 spaces over, and then to the left and down to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, and that's going to be R primed. That's going to be 1. Now you can do Q. 2 over, 1, 2, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's Q primed. P over 2, 1, 2, down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, right there. And it's P primed. And then you just make your lines. Connect your dots. And there's your new image. Okay, so this is the new image. This is the pre-image. Okay, and that's how you would do it. Okay, so you could do it that way by just going left and right and doing up and down and doing it that way. That works out great. That will give you the correct answer. All right, but there's other ways to do it if you maybe might get a little bit lost and you're not sure exactly what it will do. So I'm going to show you another way how to do it to make it easy for yourself. Okay, so identify the corner of each vertex and use a translation rule to find the coordinate points of each vertex of the image. Okay, so here's P. P is 2, 1. So that's the coordinate point of 2, 1. So it's 2 and 1. We know that. Okay, and this is the rule. So basically all we have to do is, since P is P primed, and then we just have to put in, this is X and this is Y. We just have to plug them into the equation. So the X would be 2 minus 2. Okay, and the Y would be 1 minus 5. Okay, so 2 minus 2 is equal, and that works out to P primed, works out to 0, -4. And that would be the coordinate point. So if we see that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's correct. It will be right on that point. Same thing here. So we have Q primed, and then we just plug the values in. So we have 3 minus 2. Okay, and then we have 3 minus 5, like that. Okay, and then P, I'm sorry, not P, I meant to say Q. My fault, guys. Q, okay, and that would be 1 and -2. Boom, right there. So if we do that out, so we go 1 and then we go down 2, and it's right at that point right there. Same thing for the R. Okay, R primed is basically -1, -2. Oops, let me do that. And this is going to be 3 minus 5. So R is -3, -2. So we just have to find that. So -3, down 2, and there's the spots. So again, as we see, you just have to, it's pretty easy to do. All you have to do is plug in the values or just find the shifts from each point and just find out where they are. Okay? I think it's pretty easy to do, how to do it here. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense to you, everybody. All right, let's try another one. All right. So let's do it in a different way. So this one is graph the image of a figure. This is right here, using the rule use the rule, 1 unit to the left, 2 units up. Then write the translation rule. So 1 unit to the left, 2 units up. Okay? So we can write the translation rule pretty easy. If we go to the left, that means we're going to use a negative. If we go up, that means we're going to go positive. So then we just have to write P, XY, maps to P primed, what is it? X minus 1, Y plus 2. And we're done. Okay? So let's graph the picture, and then we'll finish this off. Okay, so let's graph C. First is 1, negative 2, right here. That's C. And then A is negative 2, positive 1. That's A. And 3 is negative 3, down negative 3 right here. That's going to be T. Okay, so then I just draw my image. There you go. All right. So then it says write the translational rule. So a couple ways you can do it. Like I said before, basically all we have to do is know which way we got to go. So take the A, and we want our A prime. We're going to go 1 over to the left and up 2, 1, 2. That's going to be A prime. T is going to be over 1 to the left, up 2. That's going to be T primed. C is going to be over 1, up 2. Right here, and that's going to be C primed. All we have to do now is connect the dots. And there is your translation right there. Okay? So again, we could do it the other way as well. Basically, if we have, so we have C here. C is 1, negative 2. Okay? We're going to go C primed, and that would be 1 minus 1. And this would be negative 2 plus 2. And as you can see, that would be 0, 0, which would be the coordinate point. Okay? Which is true. Okay? Next one is A. Okay, negative 2, positive 1, A primed. Okay, and all we have to do is just count the points. 1 is 2, negative 2 minus 1. Sorry about that. And the other one is 1 plus 2. So that's 3, negative 3. So again, negative 3, negative 3, right here. Boom, right there. Perfect. That's the what is it? A, oh yeah, negative 3 up 3. Sorry. And then T, same thing. So again, we have, oh, that was, I'm sorry. No, yeah. So 3 was negative 3, negative 3. Okay, so we map that. T primed would be negative 3 minus 1. And then we have negative 3 plus 2. So that would be negative 4. That would be negative 1. So negative 4, negative 1. So again, we'll just do for that one, if you go negative 4, what are we talking about? Yeah, negative 4. That's right. And then positive 1. Oh. Yeah, perfect. Negative 4 right here and positive 1 right there. Perfect. So see, that's exactly how it works. It's just using those values and trying to figure that out. Pretty easy, I think. All right. So let's try the last one, and then we'll be done with this section. All right. So write the algebraic rule that describes this transformation. So we're not make it a picture. All we do is write the rule that represents the information. So remember the rule was P, X, Y equals P primed, X plus minus A, Y plus minus B, like that. That's a bad prime sign. My God, okay. Like that. All right. So how do we determine this? So what do we know about these transformations? Translation. This is a translation. Okay. That the same image on both sides. So it will be the same and same. So the images will be congruent. It's just a shift in where it's shown. Okay. So if the images are congruent, then basically every side is going to be the same. So all you have to do is pick one point, couple points, and find the difference between those points. So the easiest ones to find is where the zeros are. So this one's O's, O and O prime have zeros in them. So all we have to do is find out what the difference are from each one. So remember, old image, new image. So this would be, this one would be, so we'd have O, and then we know O is going to be minus 2, okay? All right. And then we're going to have, shoot, not minus 2. And then we're going to have the other one is going to be O minus O, okay? So basically, we're looking at this here. It's actually not negative. Sorry about that. So we want to do minus 2. Sorry, guys. Okay, so again, minus 2 would give us negative 2, and this one would give us 0. So basically, our shifts are 2 to the left and 0, which basically means there's no shift. All right. So having said that, what is our rule or equation? So we can rewrite this as P xy is mapped to P primed x minus 2. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that again. I'm going to use this myself. And then we got y plus 0. And that's how it would look. Or you can actually just take this thing out and just say, you can say P primed x minus 2. Oh, of course I did that again. I keep writing it like it's binomial. Minus 2 y. And you can write it like that as well. Okay? So again, guys, I think this is pretty easy to do. Just have to kind of work through it and kind of get the idea and understanding, and you'll be good to go. All right. Hopefully you heard this, and we'll practice more. Bye.